Conditional probability is a probability that occurs when you are limiting your sample space. So conditional probabilities, those are events that occur given that something else has already occurred. Okay? We have a very special notation for these probabilities. The notation would be, say, the probability that event A occurs. Then you have the straight bar, which means given that probability B occurs. Okay? So we have a formula that we use, and so this is our mathematical formula that we like to reference here, which says that the conditional probability is found by taking your probability that both events occur over the probability of the second event. So one of the ways that you could write that in words is we are really looking at the probability that A and B occur given the probability of B. Okay. So I've got a couple examples here that we're going to walk through that will hopefully help illustrate conditional probabilities a little better. So first, we want to calculate the probability and round to the nearest millionth. So that is important with probability. We're still rounding to the millionth. That's out 6 places. So here we've got a spinner. We want to find the probability of spinning an even given that we land on red. So when we're looking at this, we have that the probability of event A is going to be even. So when we look at your evens here, we have to look at what do we have that's even. Well, we've got 2, 4, 6, and 8 are all even. So this is what our set is, 2, 4, 6, and 8. So if we look, our spinner has 8 sections and 4 of them would be even, so our probability is going to be 4 over 8. Then we need the probability that B occurs. So the probability that B occurs is when we are talking about red. So here we can look at our red. So we have the R stands for red, so 1 and 2 and 4 and 7. So again, we have 1, 2, 4, and 7, which is going to give us 4 out of 8. Now the last thing we need is we need to know the probability of both. So we're looking for the probability that we're even and red. So I want to look at my evens and I want to look for the red ones. So the only ones where that occurs is going to be here at 2 and at 4. So we have 2 and 4, which is going to give me a probability of 2 over 8. So now that we know the pieces, we have to put it all together. So we want to know the probability of A given B, so our conditional probability. Well, as you remember, again, the way we set this up is we want the probability of both over the probability of my red. So in this case, the probability of both is going to be 2 over 8. The probability of red is going to be 4 over 8. When we reduce, we end up getting 2 over 4, which is the same as 1/2, which gives us a probability of 0.5. Okay, and that's all that we need to do. So as long as you remember your definition, you should be good to go. Okay. Now let's look at another one here. So we have, out of 300 applicants for a job, 212 are male. Of the male job applicants, 110 served in the military. So the first thing we have is what is the probability that randomly chosen applicant has served in the military given that he is male. So the very first thing we have to do with this problem is we have to identify what is going to be my A and what is going to be B. Well, it comes in the sentence. So we have the sentence here, served in the military given that he is male. So the probability for my A is going to be that I served in the military. Okay, so for finding the military service, we come back up into our information, and we have that 110 applicants served in the military out of 300 total. So this probability is 110 out of 300. Now the second part is going to be males. So in this case, now we are looking at our males, and here we have 212 are males out of the 300 that applied. So here we have to find our conditional probability that a randomly chosen applicant has served in the military given that he is male. And so in this case, what we are looking at is we are looking at the probability of serving in the military. So here we've got the probability of A given B is going to be served in the military, 110 over my 300, over males, 212 over my 300. So in this case, we would end up with 110 over 212, which is going to give me 0.518868. Now, the second part says, if 152 of the applicants have served in the military, what is the probability that a randomly chosen applicant is male, given that the applicant has served in the military? So in this case, the probability for A is going to be male, and the probability of B is going to be military. So we know male, and we know that 110 out of 300 is my probability of serving a male. The probability that we're in military now has changed. It says now if 152 served in the military. So in this case, this would be 152 over my 300. So in doing so, we would then rewrite it so that we have the probability of A given B is going to be 110 over my 300 divided by my 152 out of that 300. So in this case, we get 110 over the 152, which gives us a probability of 0.723684. Conditional probabilities. So if you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, I do hope you enjoyed this video, and I look forward to seeing you next time.